Hi everybody, here's a quick video showing you how to take through Design Space this new SVG to cut a lovely little book-shaped box to hold two Stansfield clamshells, and you get a version with a tuck-in box on each side and then a version with just a sleeve on each side. I personally prefer the tuck-in one because it holds the clamshells in much more securely, but this one uses a whole sheet less of A3, so you've to choose between those, I guess, whichever's more important. So I'll bring in the one with tuck-in boxes first. So as usual with any multi-part cut file SVG, the first thing you need to do is convert those lines that come in as cuts which actually need to be scores. And in my SVGs, they always live in this first subgroup in the layers panel. If a cut file SVG with scores has been created correctly, it should come in three groups. The whole SVG will be in that top group there, and then within that there'll be these two subgroups. The first one should have all your score lines nice and tidy tucked into one group so they're quick and easy to convert, and the second group will have all the cuts, whether that's the actual whole cut piece or these tiny cuts within them. So we need to select that first subgroup, and we do that by clicking on the second line down in your layers panel, which is the name of that group. You can see that you can toggle it, open and close there. Just clicking on the name selects everything in the group, and then we go to our operations menu, click on basic cut and choose score from the drop down menu. I'm working on the desktop version, obviously. If you're on the app, these commands will be somewhere at the bottom, but the name I'm saying, attach and score and all that, that's the name that you're looking for. So once they've been converted, you can see that they've gone dashed on screen now. While they're still selected, you need to go back to your layers panel and choose ungroup. Second step is to select that second subgroup that has all the cuts in it, and all we need to do there is ungroup. And the third step is to select the whole SVG. Quickest ways to do that is to just click on that last group right at the top of your layers panel and ungroup. So now everything on canvas is a separate piece, and we can attach the score lines to the individual pieces that they relate to. You've got to do it separately. If you do everything together, you'll end up with a project that's too big to cut, and Design Space will tell you it's not compatible with your machine. But that just means you've attached everything together by mistake. So I think the quickest way to do it is to click on canvas somewhere near a piece, drag a box to enclose it, and then you go back over to your layers panel and click attach at the bottom. Again, that'll be somewhere else if you're using the mobile app. And you need to do this attach for every piece on canvas that has score lines, and for this particular project that's everything. So now we've got three pieces all nicely attached, and they'll cut on the same mat. Each one will cut on the same mat. If you don't attach the scores, you'll see that you get your score lines on a separate mat. So we'll press make it, see what we end up with. So the actual sleeve, it will cut from A3. I'm just going to go back to the canvas and show you how big it is. It's 41 centimetres, just over. A3 is 42 centimetres, so you've got a whole 10 millimetres to play with there. So don't worry that when you click make it, Design Space tells you it won't fit on an A3. It absolutely will. You've got to use the long mat, obviously. So just use your long mat, put your sheet of A3 on in exactly the normal way, and it will cut just fine. These underneath will not, sadly, just quite fit together on one A3. This is why I give you two options. This option with the tuck-in boxes is definitely, you do get quite a big piece of waste here, but I don't know if you've got any of the SVGs for the smaller boxes like I do, like the 10 heart box or something like that. You might even get a snap bar box out of that, but you can definitely cut something useful out of that piece that's left. If I were making these in bulk, I'd probably bring another SVG in and pop it there to cut it at the same time. But in any event, you do need, you could use your standard mat for that actually, because you could select, where is it? Yeah, you could select 12 by 12. If you're making these out of 12 by 12, then yes, make it out of 12 by 12. Either way, you need a standard mat, but if you're doing it to match this and this is A3, chances are you'll be using A3 for those as well. So that is the version with the tuck-in boxes on either side. It makes a really lovely box, this one. I prefer the version with tuck-ins. But I know that lots of you like to save paper, and I understand that. It's a lot more expensive now than it used to be, isn't it? So let's have a look at the one that's just got the sleeves on either side. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to select that first subgroup in the layers panel, click on the name of it, which is the second line down, go to your operations menu, choose score from the drop down, and while it's selected, ungroup it. Then we need to select that second subgroup with all the cuts in it and ungroup that, and the final step is to select everything on screen and do that third ungroup. So now everything's separate and we can just drag a box around each individual piece to attach it to its scores. And again, when we send it, oops, I didn't click attach, did I? Full. There we go. When we send it to make it, we've got this same thing here. We're going to choose, now then, what are we going to do there? Yes, if you choose the, I think yeah, you could choose tabloid. Yeah, you could choose tabloid. That just means it's going to put it on the long mat on its own. And you'll put A3 on your long mat, just like you did for the other version. This one down here, we're going to rotate. I don't know why it rotates one and not the other, but if you rotate both of them, they easily fit on an A3. And once you've rotated them, you can actually, oh, for goodness sake. Right, we'll choose A3, rotate that, click on that one, click on the three dots at the corner, press move, choose that mat, rotate that one, oops, and pop that on there. They both cut really easily from one sheet of A3. So the box with just sleeves, you just need two A3s for that one. And that's it, I think. I'm not going to cut it. I've got lots. If you've got any more questions when you come to cut it or build it, don't hesitate to get in touch. I'm always happy to help. The only thing I might change before I give you the SVG is I might just rotate these little handles, cutouts I mean, for the ribbon, because I've noticed when I tie mine, the fact that they're vertical means they can slide open a bit. So I think before I give it to you, I'm going to rotate those so they are horizontal. So that's going to look different when you get it, and it's going to look different in your PDF of instructions. But the reason I've done it is it makes it a better box. Alright, that's it. Thanks very much. If you need to get in touch, the links to contact me via Etsy or Facebook are in the description below. And if you just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, the link to do that is also in the description. Thanks a lot. Bye.